I have an announcement to make. A new law has been passed. All the people with brown hair and brown eyes will no longer be able to go to this school. They will not be able to use the same drinking fountain or even the same bathroom as me. In fact, any teacher with brown hair and brown eyes will no longer be able to go to this school. How does that make you feel? Now, today, this sounds absolutely absurd. Unbelievable that the color of your hair or eyes or skin could keep you out of school or prevent you from having the same rights as others. But just decades ago, racial prejudice was something African American people in the United States of America faced every day of their lives. One heroic man volunteered his time and energy, and in the end, his life, to rid our country of discrimination. This man was Martin Luther King Jr. Not only did he volunteer, but his words and actions inspired hundreds of thousands of people of all races to volunteer and join him on nonviolent marches against prejudice and inequality. Dr. King once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished great things by volunteering. He led the Montgomery bus boycott to force integration of the city's bus lines. For 381 days, protesters walked miles to work every day instead of using the bus. The result? The Supreme Court ruled racial segregation in transportation unconstitutional. Dr. King also led many nonviolent protests in Birmingham, Alabama, one of the most racial cities in America. People were beaten, spit on, and arrested during this protest. How did Dr. King respond? He answered their violence with determined nonviolence. That same year, Dr. King led an Equal Rights March on Washington, which attracted 250,000 people. The result? The Congress passed the landmark Civil Rights Act, which eliminated all legal racism in the U.S., and the Voting Rights Act, which removed laws that prevented ethnic people from voting. Up to 1968, he focused on economic problems by leading the Poor People's Campaign. Then, on the tragic day of April 4th, 1968, Dr. King was assassinated. Ralph D. Abernathy said, "The mortal heart of Martin Luther King was stopped by an assassin's bullet. But no power on earth can ever stop his work." His work did not stop. His legacy of volunteering to make our country a better place still continues to this day. In 1994, Congress made Martin Luther King Jr. Day a national day of service. A day on, not a day off. January 16, 2012 was MLK Day, and volunteers were busy around our country, delivering meals to veterans, helping the poor, and much more. In Georgia, Richard Ham and 700 of his closest friends volunteered to clean up a neglected cemetery. University of Kentucky students spent their day elbow deep in bags of rice at a local food bank. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chris Randall worked with low-income schools tutoring students. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" We can all answer that question by volunteering. This year, I was so inspired by Dr. King that next year on MLK Day, I plan on picking up garbage in our community and using my allowance to buy food for a local food pantry. How will you volunteer on Martin Luther King Jr. Day?